Underneath the vehicle, there should be some screws right here, right here, right here, and right here. They should be a 10mm socket. Take those off. This vehicle they're missing, just so that's loose. We're going to take these two screws off, use a 7mm socket. Pull those out. There's a couple screws underneath the same 7mm socket. Take those out. Now grab this panel and just slide it back. Just enough so you can access the nut right here, the bolt right there. You can use a 10mm socket. Take that screw out. Then you can do the same on the other side. Take these push pins out. Just use a trim tool. Grab the grill, just slide it forward. There's some clips that you have to push out. Just pop those clips out. And the grill will slide forward. This is what those clips look like. Right here and right here. And there's also some push pins that obviously are push clips that have broken off on this vehicle. But you're gonna have to pop those out as well. And just grab and pull those out. Now take these push pins out, just use the trim tool. Now you can grab the bumper. And just slide it out like that. It'll be clipped in right there. And it just slides off. If your vehicle is already equipped with fog lights, you can just plug the new fog lights in and install them that way. If it is not, then we have a wiring harness we're going to install now. Now with the wiring harness, we can open this all up. And there's a relay. You can lay this all out first just to see what's going on. This relay is going to end up over in this area. And there's a power feed. We're going to end up hooking that to the battery positive side. We'll run the wire through here. One of the connectors is going to go on this side. Then we're going to run the wire over to this side where the other connector is. And then this wire is going to go through here, up around here. And then we're going to go through that grommet that goes through the firewall. And we're going to connect that so that we can have a switch on the dash. Disconnect the negative battery cable. Use a 13mm wrench. Loosen that up. And just slide the connector off and out of the way. We'll take this and run this through here. Find a little pocket where you can get your hand in there. Pull it up here. And you can go around the battery either way. Place to secure this. Right there looks good. Just take some wire ties. Just go around here. Then I'm going to connect this end right here. I'll take this nut off. Just use a 10mm socket. Slide that up. You should clean this up with a wire brush, especially if it's got corrosion on it. This one looks pretty good. And take the end of this. And you could put it on like this, or you could put it on underneath. Underneath might be a little better. And tighten this down. And then just to clean up the wires a little bit, you can wrap these up. And just use a wire tie and wire tie them out of the way. So just make sure the fog light connector is going to be able to reach the fog light, and then you can put some wire ties right around here. And you can put another one right there if you would like. And then we'll run this wire around. And same with this connector. You want it somewhere where it's going to be able to plug into the fog light. We'll wire tie it right there. And we know this side has to go to a ground. So you want to find somewhere where we can put a ground. Somewhere that's going to be clean metal. So we could go right here. If you have a bolt and a nut, you can clean up this area of the frame right here. And we can put it right there. I'm going to clean this up with a wire brush. Could also use a die grinder or sandpaper. That's pretty good. If you can, clean the backside as well. Now I'll take a nut and a bolt. Slide the ground over there. And tighten this down. Now run the wire underneath the headlight. And if you want, you can go underneath the air box. And around the ABS unit. Over to here for now. To get this wiring harness through the grommet over there, I'm going to use a tool like this where I can stab the grommet, and then on the other end I can slide the wires in here, and then we can pull it through and pull the wires right through. So now I'll do that. Now I'm going to stab it from the outside. And just be careful, you don't want to puncture any wires. Now I can slide the wires in here the best I can. Just be careful, the edges of a tool like this are pretty sharp. And you could either tape this to this or just send it all the way through. I think it'll be fine just going like that. And I pull it through. Now we can connect the two yellow wires together. It goes like that, just like that. And we have a ground wire. We have to find a ground. So there's a hole in this bracket right here. We could add a ground right there. Or if you have another, there is a ground over here. If you could run the wire further over there. Or just find some good solid metal that you can make a ground with. I think we're gonna go right there with the bracket. Just gonna clean this up a little bit. Just be careful not to get the brake lines. And put the ground on. And the nut. Now we're going to have to extend this power wire over to where the battery is. You're going to need a couple connectors. You're going to need a terminal connector like this, and then also a butt connector where we're going to splice the two wires together. Take some wire strippers and just find the right size. Just strip the end of the wire. You can twist it a little bit. Put this end over here. And then use some wire crimpers. And just crimp it on. This end is going to go to the battery. And just like we put that other terminal on, we'll disconnect that nut right there. And again, you can go on top or underneath. Make sure it's clean. Run the wire nice and neat on the back here, and we can wire tie it all up there. Use the wire strippers. Just strip the wire. You can twist the wire a little bit, make it a little easier. And just make sure it's nice and tight, which it is. We can do the same with this other side. And this has heat shrink on it, so we're gonna just shrink the shrink wrap. You could always use a heat gun if you want, or just use a torch. Just be careful. That looks good. Right here, there should be a Phillips head screw. Just use a Phillips head screwdriver and take that out. We need to remove this panel here. Remove this panel right here. If you just peel the weather strip, it'd heat back a little bit. Then just get underneath the panel. You need to move it to the side so you can access this Phillips head screw. You can pull it all the way off if you want. There's just clips holding that on. Remove this Phillips head screw with a Phillips head screwdriver. Now we can grab this panel and just pull out. Then we can access where these switches are. Now we can remove one of these switch covers. It doesn't really matter which one you want to remove. Just use a pick, get underneath here, and just push it forward. And if you have to underneath, use the pick as well. That slides out. You can take the new switch. Slide it in like that, lock it in place. And take the wire with the connector. You're gonna have to slide it up above here. Line it up with the connector. And lock it in. Now you don't want all this wire hanging out. You want to wire tie this up so it's out of the way. Then you can take this panel, slide it in place, lock it down, reinstall those screws. Then take this panel, slide it in position, just click it down and push the weather strip back in place. And then reinstall the screw right here and tighten it down. And now you want to go back around and clean up the wires a little bit, put wire ties so everything looks a little nice and neat and is out of the way, so nothing gets damaged while the vehicle is going down the road or while it's running. And same within the front, just make sure these are out of the way. You can find somewhere to wire tie them to. We're going to take the new fog light. You can replace the bulbs in these. Just twist to the left and slide it out. This is a 55W bulb or a H11 bulb. Slide it back in, twist to the right. Now if you didn't have fog lights before, you may have a cover right here. You just push these tabs in, take this cover off. You can throw that away. Take this clip. This is going to slide on right here. And then this J-nut, just like this, it's going to slide right here with the bumped out side on the inside. And take the fog light. Make sure you take the correct one. This happens to be the right side or the passenger side. And just slide it in position. It's going to go over that clip, lock down. There's a tab right here. And then take the screw and get the screw started in the J-nut. And use a Phillips head screwdriver and tighten it down. And you'll do the same procedure for the other side. Now reinstall the bumper before you slide it all the way on. If you have fog lights, you want to plug those in. I'm going to line this up. Make sure it's lined up on the side. Lock it down. Put the push pins back in and lock them down. Now slide the grill in position. Make sure these ears are going to go in the slots. And lock them in place. That's good. All the push pins up top. Line these up and lock them down. And get the screw lined up. Get that started. Tighten it down. Now slide the inner fender well underneath the bumper and get all those screws started. Two right here on the sides and then the two underneath as well. Once those are all started, tighten those all down. And then do the same on the other side. If you have screws or bolts that go in under here, you want to put those in at this time and tighten those down. Now connect the negative battery terminal and tighten it down. Double check, make sure it's nice and snug.